my name is Rachel Desantis, and I was diagnosed this February with a normal mammogram. They say that mammograms aren't important, but I'm one of those cases where I went for a normal mammogram last year, was totally fine, and I wasn't actually even going to go for my mammogram this year. I had a lot of things going on that day, and I had to schlep all the way to Los Gatos, and it was just a big ordeal, and my admin said, no, you really need to go to that appointment. So a 20-minute mammogram turned into a 3-hour ordeal of an ultrasound, and they found something right away that they said was spiculated. I had never heard that word before, so I went in the car and Googled it, and I thought, oh dear, this isn't good, and called my husband, and so I'm just leaving my mammogram. He's, said, it's been like 3 hours. I said, yeah, I don't think things are looking good. So they scheduled the biopsy. The biopsy from there told me that I did have invasive ductal cancer, and it was about 1.5 centimeters. And the next day, I was sitting in the oncologist's office with these huge decisions to make. So it was a very daunting process. I was just so in shock, and thankfully for me that I did have a relationship with a local plastic surgeon, Dr. Berkowitz, and when I left that office appointment, the little voice in my head said, call him. And he was the first person that I talked to. He called me and said, you know what, Rachel, we're going to hold your hand through this whole process, and already gave me a lot of things to think about ahead of time. So because I had a relationship with him, I think I was very fortunate to be farther along in the process than maybe other women who didn't have that relationship and knowledge, because it allowed me to be able to go backwards and work forward to make my decision. Even with that, I wrestled very hard. The surgeons and plastic surgeons have very different ideas of what they think should be done. For me, I had breast cancer in one breast, the other breast was healthy. My surgeon's opinion was, I'm always going to be here. If you happen to need me later, we can go ahead and remove that breast. I didn't want to go through radiation and lumpectomy and all of that, so it was very clear I wanted to go with the mastectomy and have all the breast tissue. Where I wrestled with was, I have a perfectly good breast on the left side. What should I do with that? And for me, they had talked over and over again about the symmetry. And that just stayed in my mind that, normally we aren't symmetrical. We have different nostrils, different sides of our body on the plane, and your normal breasts aren't symmetrical either. But, when they're taking from cancer, and, in my case, a bilateral mastectomy, it's much easier to match two and do all at the same time than do one to match the other. Regardless, you're still going to have surgery on the other breast because we have two. So you're matching this one to this one. The answer for me, through all of that information that I gained from them, was to go ahead with the bilateral mastectomy. And it was interesting because that was such a a decision I had to wrestle with. But as soon as I actually went through the surgery, the first thought I thought of was, I was so thankful that I had gone ahead and got this over with and behind me. I would never want to have to come back, God forbid, a year later, 2 years later, and go through this surgery again. So for me, it was very clear that I made the right decision. What I would say is, not be afraid of the process. You get diagnosed with cancer, you hear those words, you hear they're gonna, take something off of your body, and you immediately think about disfigurement, you think about your womanhood, you think about, what maybe your partner, your husband, your spouse would think, how you'd look in clothes. I mean, to be honest, the first day I took a shower, my husband took a shower with me because I couldn't even move my arms and shave my legs, wash my hair. I cried the entire time. He was so loving and gentle and caring, but you feel so disfigured and feel so terrible. But I would just say don't be afraid, because the plastic surgeons and the technology today, they have so much amazing things that they can do now.